I don't know what all this means. So I got asked by several beginner gardeners, I'm just throwing everything in one pile. Is this okay? Yes, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure that you're flipping your compost pile at least once a week. You know, for something like what I'm doing on a much bigger scale, you're you're gonna need exactly what I'm doing. I have all my sticks right here, which is part of your browns. I have all my leaf mulch, which is again part of your browns. Good microbiome in the leaf mulch. And then I have all of my greens right here. These are broke down pretty good already, and it's just it turns into really good soil. Like we already have a bunch of good leaf mulch, and that's exactly what this is. This just turns into really good soil. Super rich, full of nutrients. This is what you want. This is what you're putting into your soil, whether you're in a raised bed or in ground or even in a little grow bag or a pot. This compost is the absolute best thing you can put in there, better than any other amendment, because it's got a little bit of everything: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. I I do use plenty of amendments. I'll use I like Nature Safe. It's an all my stuff's organic. It's an all organic fertilizer by Darling Ingredients, and it's awesome. It's pelletized. It releases for weeks, and they have an 855, a 1300 to fit pretty much anything you're growing. The 855 may be a little bit high for like your root vegetables and stuff, but it's a pretty good universal everything amendment. I like Espoma. They have a ton of great stuff. Plantonics, they make a ton of great stuff. There's a lot of good companies out there that have all organic stuff. You just have to, it's like I said, experience is the best teacher. You're going to want to experiment and see what works best for you. That's really what you like over here. I just made all this soil the other day, and this is just super rich, good soil, right? I made that a year and a half ago. This was in all my grow bags. This was in some of my pots, and every year I will reuse this soil. That's why I do so many how to make your own soil videos. It doesn't ever just get thrown out. You're gonna reuse this year after year. Your initial expense is gonna be all within your first couple years. After that, you're just reusing, re-amending, and putting stuff back out. This bed here specifically is for legumes. We're growing all peas in here. I got sugar snap. I got a couple I got a sugar snow pea, a yellow sweet pea, and green arrows. And legumes, all legumes. I've said this a million times. Green beans, I don't care if it's pole or bush, string or stringless, peas, any type, cow pea, garden pea, all your legumes are already nitrogen fixers. They take nitrogen from the air and attach it to the roots and feed themselves when they need it. Don't add any nitrogen to any of your legumes. You do not need it, or you'll have green bean plants that look like, shrubs, but there'll be no green beans on it. You need potassium, calcium, phosphorus, things like that. That's why I like compost, because like my green compost is super high in nitrogen because I add horse manure to it and turn that in there, so it's very rich. It's just a great formula. So you know, 2 months into the season, I'll take a whole bunch of the compost and spread it around all the beds, all around all the plants, and it just rejuvenates them, and poof, they explode, man. And they'll come on like gangbusters. My broccoli, all my brassicas, really, cauliflower. Last year, I was producing heads bigger than my head, and it's not that big, but still, human head weighs 8 pounds. I think you get into this and you start doing this with the raised beds. I like it 10 times better than growing in ground, and I grew in ground my whole life. I've been doing this over 40 years. I started, you know, before I was 10 years old. I was helping my grandma and grandpa in their garden. Started out just eating all the, it was like, when I was a kid, that place was paradise. You walk into the backyard, there's an Italian plum tree, there's a Macintosh apple tree, there's lines of black and red raspberry bushes and burgundies, gooseberry bushes, a mulberry tree, strawberries, rhubarb. It was just like, I'd be picking seeds out of my teeth for weeks after. But I'd be out there helping them plant, helping them harvest, helping them fertilize, you know, weed, everything. And that's really what got me into it. Growing all your own stuff, all this food we're growing tastes 10 times better than anything you get at the grocery store. It always will. Once you start doing this, you'll see the difference immediately with anything. And I encourage anyone, any first year grower growing vegetables who hasn't grown before, you're going to think your vegetables taste funny. No, no, no. This is how they're supposed to taste. You've been raised on grocery store vegetables. They are not the same. They're completely different. Same with I grew, what was it, the mango last year I grew? That giant 15-pounder. Giant mango melon.
Yeah.
And it was my first year growing mango melons. It was a new melon from Burpee that I got, and it was awesome. But this sucker, they're only supposed to be like 8-pounders. It was massive, and I'm like, not sure there's no slip test with these. Usually with a melon, you can just give it a good tug, and they call it a slip test, and if it's ready, it'll pop off. You look to the tendril's still good. So I'm like, you know, when do I, and then all of a sudden it got a slit in it, started cracking. I popped it off. That was the sweetest melon I ever had. In every bite, juice was just running down your chin. So good. There's no melons like that at any stand or grocery store anywhere around. It was absolutely phenomenal. And that is what you'll find with most of the stuff you grow. I don't care if it's garlic, onions, whatever. It's going to taste far better than anything you get at the store. Your corn, your okra, everything. If you're amending correctly, and that's what I'm showing people, how to amend what, when to amend it, when to fertilize, when to let your stuff sit. You go through and scroll through all my videos, you'll find how-tos on pretty much everything, and that's all I'm trying to do is get people growing, man. Get them going, get them growing. Thanks for watching. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. See you later.